Welcome. Today we will see chapter number 3, that is pressure vessels. These are some images of the pressure vessels. Now we will see definition of pressure vessels. Vessels, tanks and pipelines that carry, store or receive fluids are called pressure vessels. A pressure vessel is defined as a container with a pressure differential between inside and outside. The inside pressure is usually higher than the outside, except for some isolated situations. Now this diagram shows some typical components of pressure vessel. This is inlet nozzle, head, shell, catalyst bed, support grid, lower catalyst bed, outlet collector, outlet nozzle. This is the skirt support and this is the base. The fluid inside the pressure vessel may undergo a change in state as the case of steam boilers, or may combine with other reagents as in the case of chemical reactor. Pressure vessels often have a combination of high pressure together with high temperatures, and in some cases flammable fluids of highly radioactive materials. Because of such hazards, it is imperative that the design be such that no leakage can occur. In addition to these vessels have to be designed carefully to cope with the operating temperature and pressure. It should be borne in mind that the rupture of a pressure vessel has potential to cause extensive physical injury and property damage. Plant safety and integrity are of fundamental concern in pressure vessel design. Now we will see some applications of pressure vessels. Pressure vessels are used in industrial compressed air receivers, domestic hot water storage tanks, diving cylinders, scuba diving, recompression chambers, distillation towers, autoclaves, oil refineries and petrochemical plants, nuclear reactor vessels, hydraulic reservoirs, storage vessels for liquefied gases such as ammonia, chlorine, propane, butane and LPG. Now we will see different materials used for the pressure vessels. The materials that are commonly used in pressure vessel construction are steels, non-ferrous metals such as aluminum and copper, metals such as titanium and zirconium, non-metallic metals such as plastic, composites and concrete, metallic and non-metallic protective coatings. Various metals have some typical characteristics as below. Carbon steel, strength and moderate corrosion resistance. Low alloy steel, strength at high temperatures. Stainless steel, corrosion resistance. Nickel alloys, corrosion resistance. Copper alloys, seawater resistance. Aluminum, light, low temperature toughness. Titanium, seawater and chemical resistance. Refractories, very high temperatures. Non-metallic, corrosion and chemicals. Now we will see different factors which are affecting the selection of material for the pressure vessels. First is process fluid, that is, plastic might be perfect for the fluid corrosiveness but will melt when the operator's steam the equipment during cleaning. Operating temperature, operating pressure, fluid velocity, contamination of product, required life of the equipment, cost of the materials of construction. Now we will see classification of pressure vessels. First is based on wall thickness. Thin wall vessel, thick wall vessel. Second, based on geometric shape. Cylindrical vessels, spherical vessels, rectangular vessels, combined vessels. Third, based on installation methods. Vertical vessels, horizontal vessels. Fourth, based on operating temperature. Low temperature vessels, that is, temperature less than or equal to -20 degrees Celsius. Second, normal temperature vessels, temperature between -20 degrees Celsius to 150 degrees Celsius. Third, medium temperature vessels, temperature between 150 degrees Celsius to 450 degrees Celsius. Fourth, high temperature vessels, temperature more than 450 degrees Celsius. Fifth, based on design of pressure, low pressure vessels, 0.1 megapascal to 1.6 megapascal. Second, medium pressure vessels, 1.6 megapascal to 10 megapascal. Third, high pressure vessels, 10 megapascal to 100 megapascal. Fourth, ultra high pressure vessels, more than 100 megapascal. 6. Based on technological processes, reaction vessel, heat exchanger vessel, separation vessel, and storage container vessel. Now we will see difference between thin shell and thick shell pressure vessels. Now there are three criteria. First criteria is thickness. In case of thin pressure vessel, thickness is less than 1/10 to 1/15 of the diameter. Diameter means inside diameter of the pressure vessel. In case of thick shell, thickness is greater than 1/10 to 1/15 of the diameter. Second criteria is internal fluid pressure. In case of thin shell, internal fluid pressure P is less than 1/6 of the allowable stress. In case of thick shell, internal pressure P is greater than 1/6 of the allowable stress. Third application, thin shell or thin pressure vessels are used in boilers, tanks and pipes, whereas thick shells are used in high pressure cylinders, tanks and gun barrels, etc. Now we will see different stresses in thin cylindrical shell due to internal pressure. The analysis of stresses induced in a thin cylindrical shell are made on the following assumptions. First, the effect of curvature of the cylinder wall is neglected. Second, the tensile stresses are uniformly distributed over the section of the walls. Third, the effect of the restraining action of the heads at the end of the pressure vessel is neglected. When a thin cylindrical shell is subjected to an internal pressure, it is likely to fail in the following two ways. It may fail along the longitudinal section, that is circumferentially, splitting the cylinder into two troughs. Second, it may fail across the transverse section, that is longitudinally, splitting the cylinder into two cylindrical shells. Thus, the wall of a cylindrical shell subjected to an internal pressure has to withstand tensile stresses of the following two types: circumferential or hoop stress and longitudinal stress. Now we will see circumferential or hoop stress. This is the diagram. Consider a thin cylindrical shell subjected to an internal pressure as shown in figure. This is the pressure P. This is the diameter D. Inside diameter D of the pressure vessel. This is the thickness of the pressure vessel. Tensile stress acting in a direction tangential to the circumference is called circumferential or hoop stress. In other words, it is a tensile stress on longitudinal section. Longitudinal section means along x-axis. Let P is equal to internal pressure, D diameter of the cylindrical shell, L length of the cylindrical shell, T is equal to thickness of the cylindrical shell, and sigma T1 is equal to circumferential or hoop stress for the material of the cylindrical shell. Now we will derive the equation of circumferential or hoop stress. We know that the total force acting on the longitudinal section of the shell is equal to intensity of pressure into projected area. Therefore, intensity of pressure P projected area means D into L. Since pressure is acting along longitudinal axis, that's why we have taken the parameters D and L. Also, the total resisting force acting on the cylinder walls for two sections is equal to sigma T1 into 2T into L. Therefore, equating equations 1 and 2, we are getting sigma T1 equal to PD upon 2. Now we will see longitudinal stress. In case of longitudinal stress, pressure is acting along the y-axis. Therefore, consider a closed thin cylindrical shell subjected to an internal pressure as shown in figure. Tensile stress is acting in the direction of the axis is called longitudinal stress. In other words, it is a tensile stress acting on the transverse or circumferential section YY. We will derive now the equation for longitudinal stress. Let sigma T2 is equal to longitudinal stress. In this case, the total force acting on the transverse section is equal to intensity of pressure into cross sectional area. Therefore, P into pi by 4 d square. Also, the total resisting force is equal to sigma T2 into pi dt. Therefore, equating equations 1 and 2, we have sigma T2 is equal to PD upon 4. Okay. Thank you very much.